50 years ago today, a legendary brand was born. On March 16th, 1966, the Van Doren Rubber Company opened up shop in Anaheim. The store offered rubber-soled canvas shoes that were manufactured on the premises overnight to be picked up the next day. Last year, Vans hit $2 billion worth of annual sales. The incredible success of this footwear came in no small part from Southern California skaters. Earlier today, one of them stopped by our studios. Cindy Whitehead was one of the first few women in the early skateboarding scene. Today, she's a sports fashion stylist and an avid Vans collector. Cindy told me about the first pair she ever bought.
Actually, my very first Vans were the two-tone, so they were blue and red, and I loved them. I think it was the first year they came out, because they came out in 76, and I got them at the end of 76, 77, and so those were really big with skaters, so I got those pretty quickly.
Did you ever go to that first store? I mean, Vans stores are everywhere now, but that first one in Anaheim?
No, never went to the one in Anaheim because I grew up in Hermosa Beach, but we had a really small one by us, too, and it was very similar to that one. Just the old mom and pop feel, just on a street, in the middle of a street. It was great.
Were they custom order in Hermosa Beach too?
Yeah, they custom ordered everywhere, as I remember. I did never custom order. I just liked everything instantaneously. So I wanted it right off the shelf. Like, give it to me now.
Well, and you weren't alone, right? They were the shoe of choice for skaters. And that, I mean, I don't think Vans would be what it is today without the love and support of the skater crew. Why did you all like them so much?
They were super grippy. The soles were great with that waffle sort of sole that they have on them. The grip was really good.
Which is important, right? You want to stay on your skateboard.
Yeah. And they looked good. And they weren't like what everybody else was wearing. They weren't like the Nikes or the other shoes that were out there. They set us apart. They were different. They kind of were skate, and they still are, skate, surf culture, Southern California. And it said something about you to wear Vans. And
didn't it just not only say something about you to wear Vans, but wear like really scuffed up Vans? Because you're skaters, your feet, I mean, they're getting a lot of wear and tear as you're dropping in on the half pipe and all the rest of it, right? And
yeah, they get that way very quickly. And it's a source of pride, too, to know that the big toe is worn out because maybe you're dragging it when you're doing 360s or, the right side of your shoe is worn out from dragging it, stopping when you're going down hills to the beach. There's just a lot of things that make Vans Vans. I wish I'd kept every single pair of worn out Vans I had because they're just classic.
We're talking about Vans, but Cindy, while we have you here, I'd also just, that scene in the early 70s, the skateboarding scene here in Southern California, it was mostly dudes who were doing it. And what was it like to be one of the few women amongst that crew in your Vans?
It was great. I wish there was more girls skating. There were a few. We rarely saw each other. They were all at different skate parks. But you become one of the guys. The guys treat you with respect. You skate with respect, and you get respect. It was a really good scene back then. I really enjoyed it. I missed those days. But now there's a lot of girls coming up, and that's even more fun.
And more opportunities for Vans, which now you can buy in just about any pattern and design under the sun. I recently bought a pair of Winnie the Pooh Vans for my 4-year-old's daughter because you can get those now. But the one design that I think when people think of Vans, especially in that era of the 70s, is the checkerboard pattern. Why was that such a deal?
I think because that came out during Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And that movie was so popular, and Jeff Spicoli wore those, and that just made them iconic. They just went huge. But of course, Stevie Caballero and Christian Hosoi, they all wore checkerboard skate high tops. So later on,
and these are real life guys, we should say, life, not like Jeff Spicoli.
Yeah, real life pro skaters that still skate for Vans to this day, and they wore checkerboard high tops. So the checkerboard pattern is just classic, and I hear they're reissuing it. Today it launches in another woven pattern.
So exciting. Yeah. Vans today, they're celebrating their big 50th anniversary, but the company, I mean, there were plenty of times where it almost didn't make it. In the 1980s, they decided, hey, we're going to branch out. We're going to make some athletic shoes, and made like running shoes, volleyball shoes, wrestling shoes. This did not work out for them at all. And the company actually had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy at one point. Does that surprise you at all? Is there a kind of a lesson for especially, sports brands to learn from that?
I think yes, in a way, yes, because they knew what they were really good at what they did, and they had a core market, and they still have that core market. And fashion has embraced them now too. And sometimes you can't be everything to everyone.
Yeah.
You have that area that you're really good at, and they've excelled at it like nobody else has. I mean, it's a casual shoe you can wear anywhere and everywhere. It's not sports specific. You can skate in it, but you can go to the mall in it. You can hang out in it. It's just a good shoe.
Yeah. How many Vans do you say are in your closet today?
I think probably about 30 right now.
Whoa!
There's probably about 30 in there, and I have a lot of iconic ones that are hard to get, or things that I just see and I pick up along the way because I know they're never coming back again.
Like what? What's like an iconic one that's hard to get?
I have one that's skull
You should mention
print.
you've brought in these.
Yeah,
first. Yeah.
I have a bandana skull print pattern, and every time I post on Instagram or Pinterest, whatever, people are like, "Oh, I want those!" And it came complete with a red skull bandana pattern, like an actual bandana with it. So I have those, and I have like a high top. I love high tops, by the way, because I didn't wear those so much back in the day. I have the high tops that are like tie-dye blue, which I love. Yeah. There's just so many iconic ones. The ones I'm wearing today are black leather with a gold zipper up the back, and those flew off the shelves. They just came out last month.
Wow. I love it. And thank you for dressing up for us. Cindy, you work now as a fashion stylist within the kind of action sports world. What role does Vans have today? Where do you see them? Who's wearing them?
I'd say everyone is wearing them. I mean, you pick up Vogue, you pick up Glamour, you pick up a sports magazine, even Self or Shape or something like that. You see Vans on the girls. They are coming back. I wouldn't even say coming back. They've always been here. They are strong in the fashion market, and they're strong in the skate and surf market still. So they have this really broad area that they go across, and everybody loves them. I can't find one client of mine who doesn't love Vans.
That's so funny. I want to ask you, Cindy, about there is a photo you were kind enough to share with us, and we're going to put it on our website, take2.org. You are wearing a pair of pink Vans, and you're doing something totally awesome. What are you doing?
I'm skateboarding down the 405 freeway in Los Angeles in my pink Vans.
No, I love it. You just put it out there like that, and listeners are going to think, "Oh my God, this woman is crazy." We should know, when were you doing this? Because that adds a lot of context.
I should mention that I skateboarded down the freeway during Carmageddon 2. Yeah. So the freeway was closed, but all entrances were blocked with police stationed at every single one, and I snuck on the freeway. Got my pink Vans very dirty and greasy. I still have them. They haven't been worn much since. They're kind of iconic to me. I'm going to keep them forever.
Oh, man. Today, Cindy Vans is celebrating its 50th anniversary, and they're having all these parties around the world. I'm curious, do you mark this day in any kind of special way? Will you take a moment to celebrate the longevity and history of Vans?
Yeah, absolutely. Vans has always been like a family to all of us skaters. Even now, Christy and Steve Van Doren put on all the contests. They're there cooking hot dogs for us. I mean, they are the Vans family, and that's what they're called. And I would definitely take my day celebrating Vans in every way.
Fashion stylist Cindy Whitehead speaking with us about the 50th anniversary of the shoes known as Vans. Cindy, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
After we chatted, I should note that I rifled through the bag of Vans shoes that Cindy brought in with her. She wears my size, and man, oh man, I was so tempted to steal a pair. Like those hot pink tie-up ones that she wore on the 405 during Carmageddon. They weren't actually all that greasy. But of course, thievery is wrong, and those kicks, I should mention, no ordinary pair of shoes. Cindy Whitehead told me that most likely she will wind up sending them to Washington, D.C.
A lot of my 70s skate history is in the Smithsonian Museum, and there's like 8 pieces of my skate history in there, and so I know that they're going to ask me at some point for those, so I'm saving them, and I will give them to them because they'll be there forever.
Cindy Whitehead, what an amazing woman, talking about her famous hot pink Vans. And by the way, this song, Joan Jett's Bad Reputation, was her favorite song to skateboard to back in the day.